AVL Scenario Designer is the most intuitive tool to quickly design complex ADAS-AD test scenarios in ASAM OpenSCENARIO standard. Hi, I'm Simon and I would like to give you a quick tour of the tool. When creating a scenario, we have to choose which version of the ASAM OpenSCENARIO standard we want to create. We will choose the version 1.1. When creating a new scenario, the first question is, where should it happen? So we need to define the road network. With the road library, we ship a selection of existing OpenDrive content that you can use directly to start your new scenarios. You can import different OpenDrive maps with a click of a button. Of course, you can also import your own OpenDrive content. We will load the map of the Salason Proving Ground in Hungary. It's quite a big map, and therefore the minimap here on the lower right side will help you to navigate easily. With the OpenDrive Inspect mode, you can take a deeper look into the underlying OpenDrive file and understand possible bugs or file corruptions. Also, you can see all the different lane IDs and road names. With the Road Builder add-on, you can generate your own OpenDrive roads within just a few seconds based on parameterizable templates. We'll choose now to create a 2-lane highway. Each template has a selection of different parameters that can be easily changed. As soon as I change a parameter, the road is regenerated within seconds. I can anytime assign a parameter to our global parameter space in order to vary it in a parameter variation. This is especially helpful for ADAS features like lane keep assists, where the testing focus is more on different environments, for example different road curvatures. Once I have decided for a road that I want to use for my scenario, I can switch over to the Scenario tab in order to define the dynamic part of my scenario. For the dynamic part of the scenario, the first question is, which actors participate in our scenario? I can choose from a broad variety of typical actors that are needed. Even objects and obstacles are supported. We will now add a car to the scenario. I can easily drag and drop this into the scenario, but I can also use our shortcut tool here to quickly add other vehicles. I will add a van. Further, I can also choose to import vehicles from a catalog in order to reuse them in different scenarios. I loaded an example catalog here, and you can see I have different vehicles. For example, the camper van, or even the harvester, or an SUV. I'll choose to import the sedan here by clicking the Use in Scenario button. As you can see, this vehicle is now linked to the catalog. I can always change the initial parameters of the vehicles. Here you can see the initial speed is 30 km per hour. I will change this to a higher value of 70. Now we reach the stage where I can have a first preview of the scenario just by clicking the Run button. You can see how all the different vehicles behave. Our plan is to create a cut-in scenario. For this, I would like to have this vehicle on the left lane starting a bit behind. So I will just move it to a different start position. I can define start positions in different coordinate systems. We will stay here with the road coordinate system. Further, I want to define which of the 3 actors in my scenario is the ego vehicle. The ego vehicle is the classical shortcut for the vehicle under test. I can easily rename the vehicle and give it the name ego, and you can see it gets this little E icon. I'll also change the start velocity of my ego vehicle from 30 km per hour to 50 km per hour. And I will also do the same for the van. When I play back my scenario, you can see the sedan overtaking. I lost track of the vehicles here. I can easily choose to follow the vehicles with the camera in order to keep track of them. We'll jump a bit back here. This time I want my sedan to make a lane change to the right to perform the cut-in order to challenge our ego vehicle. We have a selection of quick actions here that I can create. I will choose the lane change to the right. You can directly see the trajectory updating. And as we go into the live preview mode, you can see now the sedan performing the lane change. But because the sedan has a higher velocity, we saw the vehicles here driving through each other. We can easily solve this by adding a speed change to our lane change event. You see that all the events here in the left, in the tree, and I can add the new action by clicking the action, and I can choose from the whole list of open scenario actions that are supported in Scenario Designer. I will choose the speed change, and if I click here on the speed change, I can change the property of the speed change action. The target speed of 50 km per hour looks fine, but the duration of 10 seconds is too high, and I will turn it down to something smaller, like 3 seconds. Again, you see immediately the preview updating here, and if I jump back and have another look at the scenario, you can see that the velocity of the sedan reduces and it keeps a constant distance to the van, because they have the same speed now. The scenario looks quite fine now, but it's currently triggered only by a simulation time condition. This makes it hard to vary the scenario. We will now extend the simulation time condition with the relative distance condition. With the Add Condition button, I can add new conditions to my event. I can choose to have a mix of multiple conditions that all need to be true in order for the event to take place. I will choose now the relative distance condition, and you will see directly that my scenario is now failing because I did not specify all information required. I will define between which vehicles the distance should be measured. I will choose the ego vehicle and the sedan. And I will define that the lane change shall happen when the distance gets greater than 5 meters. Now you can see our scenario has no errors anymore, and I can have a look at it again. But suddenly our action is not happening anymore. Why is this? The reason is I have now 2 conditions specified. One means the simulation time needs to be exactly 2.88 seconds, and the other one is the relative distance condition, and they are never true at the same time. In order to resolve this situation, I will change the equal to condition to a greater than condition, and I will reduce the time to 1 second. Now you can see we have a combination of conditions that will actually come true. And if I have a look at the scenario, the cut-in happens as expected. In order to prepare the scenario for a parameter variation, I can now assign parameters on specific properties of my event. First, I will assign a parameter on the relative distance. So, we will vary the speed change by changing or varying the duration. And at the same time, also we can vary the duration of the lane change, which is currently here 20 meters. This can also be changed to a time condition, but we will keep this here as a distance in meters and assign a global parameter on it. We will give a more meaningful name here, and we'll call it distance lane change. Now that I prepared my scenario for a parameter variation, I can export a logical scenario in the ASAM OpenSCENARIO format. Because I used catalogs in my scenario, I will be asked if I want to export the catalog together with my scenario file. I will choose yes. When opening the exported scenario with the code editor, you can see that I created valid OpenSCENARIO 1.1 content. You can see the parameter definitions, and you can see also all the actions and entity definitions. Of course, we recommend not only exporting OpenSCENARIO content to your local hard drive. Using the AVL Seniors toolchain, you can benefit from managing your scenarios company-wide with the AVL Seniors Scenario Data Manager. We have a direct integration into the Scenario Designer, which allows you to push scenarios that you created easily to this scenario database. You can define minimum, maximum, and step values for your parameters, but this can also be done later in the database. If I choose OK now, we will push this now to the database. I hope you liked this video. Feel free to reach out to me if you have more questions. Thank you for your time.